Hey everybody, multi-dimensional guide here, Alicia, with your November channeled energy themes of the month. I know right now there is a lot of big energies being moved around us, within us. For this upcoming month, there's a few topics that they wanted me to mention before I get into the channeling. The first one, there's this huge energy around ancestral trauma that's really coming to surface in a lot of different ways. And around this, especially at this time when the veil between the spirit world and the human realm is very thin, that energetic veil, Spirit has really kind of had me see through my own healing process this idea of ancestral lineage from a very personal, sovereign point of view. There's a lot that we get caught up in projections of certain ideas based on what we learn in history, what we're told, whisper down the lane. But they really kind of want to push this idea of the validation of your specific lineage in human, and also incorporating this idea of galactic ancestry in your understanding of embodiment. The second theme, huge push, especially around this past lunar eclipse, this idea of integration. And integration meaning from the subconscious to the conscious. And the subconscious is very much kind of having psychic abilities come online, but also the subconscious in the sense of traumas. And when all that stuff, right, we're talking about bringing the conscious into awareness. When someone's psychic abilities start to awaken, or they're able to start to perceive their experience as psychic, and it goes with trauma too, suppressed trauma, memories. The validation part, right, is a huge part that many people question. Is this real? Were these memories real? And what I'm experiencing in my third eye real? And the integration of this in a very embodied way this month is really going to be anchored and grounded down, where it's going to be so present in your human experience that the validation is just naturally going to be there. Yes, this is actually valid. What had happened to me is actually valid. These psychic abilities that I am having, what I'm seeing, what I'm perceiving, what I'm hearing, is very valid, and it's very true. Like it's almost, oh, my body is tingling as I'm talking. It's almost like it's going to be a very strong push from the universe to help you validate your experience. This can come through whether synchronicities, in synchronicities, an example would be like when you have a certain thought about something, you keep on seeing like 333 or an angel feather or bird angel feather or say you hear something and it's like, an example would be you're hearing like go to France, an example, and all of a sudden then you see an Eiffel Tower go by or a picture of that, right? So these validations are going to be very strong this month, and how this is going to look in trauma and healing and validating your experience, it's going to come through in a very similar way, where if you're starting to have a memory about something and you question it, what's going to come up around you is situations, things mirroring it back to you. An example is like maybe putting on a movie that you've never seen before, and in that situation, there may be a trauma that mirrors the one that's coming up to you. And so it's kind of a validation that, yes, this actually really did happen to you, and having that validation helps you in your healing process and the emotions that come up from that, and expressing and getting support in healing whatever that is for you. And this is going to the psychic aspect. You know, if you're all of a sudden feeling presence from spirits in a different kind of way, you know, getting support or kind of being empowered by the experience, by joining certain support groups, psychic medium development groups, and same with the validation of the emotion and the experience, joining certain groups where you have a freedom to express these experiences that you're going through, so you're not so isolated in that. And in validating that for yourself in a group setting, it's just a really healing experience to have. And number 3, there is this theme of the lead up of consequences and choices that you have made that might not have been quite positive for yourself. And so it's coming to a point where these actions are the consequences of them are going to be speaking very loud to you to make alterations. And I want to be very clear, you know, there can be a lot of shame that comes up in this, but I want to diffuse this, because going back, this actually ties into the second theme. This idea of the integration of parts of ourselves that have been hard, right? A lot of times we're just programmed to disassociate from those parts of us. And from that, addictions and unhealthy behaviors kind of come online to disassociate and not own these aspects. Sorry, there's a cat door back here. My cat Malachite's coming through. So these behaviors are coming to head to really ask us to incorporate a way to validate more of your experience. Because the more, right, I said the validation, it's going to be there. It's going to be there. And if you keep on kind of pushing it away, which can be easy to do and hard to want to own up to certain things, right? The coping mechanism or the aspect that we have used to numb out that experience can come to a point where it's not going to be worth it for your well-being to continue that in a very, because it's going to be coming on in a very conscious way. And like I said, please, it's easy to shame, and I'm bringing this to kind of awareness, so when this kind of happens, you can go, oh, remember, right? These are programs that we have been taught from trauma how to cope with aspects of ourselves that it wasn't safe to experience, and a lot of that times it is trauma, and it is psychic abilities, where projection from other people, right? And so when you understand that, when you have a consciousness of the occurrence of this, the solution is to empower yourself in the validation, in writing down when you have synchronicities. If you have a psychic message for someone and you feel called to share, giving yourself permission to voice that. Or if you don't feel comfortable voicing it, write it down. Get it out there to validate it. And then congratulate yourself, right? Because a lot of times these parts of us that are actually naturally authentic to us, that had been shamed in the past, really want to be heard and kind of valid, like, awesome, you did a great job. And if addiction is something that you are up against, it takes time to rewire and to kind of be present too when you're in these moments, and say, like, instead of eating a whole bag of chips, you only eat 3/4 of the bag. Congratulate yourself. Go look at yourself in the mirror and said, you did awesome, right? And taking the shame out of actually the addictive behavior. Because the more we beat ourselves up about it, the more we can end up in that loop of binging or whatever the behavior is. So allowing the integration of these parts of ourselves and just celebrating the wins. And telling yourself it's okay if you end up back in those habits as these integrative parts are coming online in a very embodied way. So yes, we're getting into the, oh yay, oh, this is really great. We're getting into the energies are coming in right now. So asking you to take a deep breath in your heart space. Imagining a beautiful vessel of love and light around you. Trusting whatever's supposed to come and integrate your being now, or whatever is for you. Calling in the hose of light and love for the greatest good and the greatest good of all. Your path is one to be walked, not run. We ask at this time that you allow yourself permission to integrate what you are receiving in a very linear way. For what you are receiving right now is deep inspiration, and it doesn't need to be expressed all at once. For each seed has its own timing of growth. And we want you to really enjoy the fruit of your labor. Yes, there are major pushes of energy right now on the planet. Pushes and pulls. And the more that you let yourself go at your speed, so that it allows an unfolding, is what is being asked. For it is quick burns that will bring a halt in a way that will last longer than it needs to. Take care of your human self. Be very present to its needs. We are here to help you integrate these times, this medicine, and your becoming as a soul, as a human, and as someone of such grace. We thank you. Toyatiata tayo wata hiata na kota la tatia wana na tiakata na lalia tita tatia ta 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 ta. Kata yono kata. Use your voice to sing your truth. Use your voice to be heard. Use your voice to heal those in suffering. Use your voice to state your presence, for it is so important. And how that comes out does not have to be in words that comprehend by the mind. Allow the noises, allow the questionable to have expression. In that freedom, in the letting go, in the permission you give yourself to vocalize beyond what you need to know, the control. It will bring change beyond the knowing into a space of holding. For centuries, for milestones of people still to be born, it will hold a frequency that we are all moving into. And it is through the letting of the embodied sound, message, voice to move through you. A gift for many, a gift for you, a gift for your soul. Be proud. Proud. No koama hiaka. Yako. Yakata. For breaking the mold. Niakata. Yakata is what is being asked. Koto yakata. Yanaomono yatiakata. Honor you. Honor the unique sounds, the unique being, the unique soul imprint that your voice has, for it allows your heart to shine. Thank you. Use the mirror. Sing in the mirror. Sing to yourself. Allow it to reflect back your authentic light. Holding, becoming, nurturing your whole being. Tia kapaya mana. Alright, one more wants to come through. 1 second. Two more. Bless the water, please. The water. The water. The water. Bless it be. For the energy within it needs a healing. The contaminants are strong. And it is through the love that they break down. It is through blessing of the water alters the fractals within. So ask your guides, have them come online in this goal and this mission, setting forth an intention to bless all the water in any form in the body, in the earth, in the animals. Blessing, blessing, blessing. It is love that is the answer. Blessing the water, blessing the water, blessing the water. The father, Iakoto, the mother, Iakata, the daughter, Niokoto, the son, Niokoto, and all of that within is blessed. All of that in between is blessed. Blessing the water, blessing the water in such gratitude. It is cleansed. In this blessing it is cleansed, purified by the love of God. And so it is. Hatikatalamona. Hai 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 ha. Haya nai kamana. Soyaka. Ihana. Koya tai nahi ka. Moika inahi ha. Soya mai nahi ka. Lahi kohi mahana. Toya kata hayana hamo ya ki. Hayo noya kaya ma. Lahi koha ma. Ya 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 ya. Yoko mana. Yoko ya kiyamana. Iakata iamana niakata. Iakaya nalali yokoto amana. Iakai iakata iana. Iakamana. Iakata ianana. Iamaka Iakai yota. Lamana niamana. Kota ia kahaya na ia na lalali ko mana. Tia kota ia tia na la ia mana. Nyokoto ia mana. Ia kata lali yokoto ia mana. Ia mana. Akata. Miaka ia na ia kata ia mana. Ia kata mona. Ia na ia kata. Nyana, Niakoto, Niana, Niakata. 中遠山な。Whew. Taking a deep breath, coming back in. To my body. So I'm going to write down below who came through, but right off the bat, I know the first one was, I think it's Ashtar the Commander, Galactic Federation Commander. Yes. I don't know, there were a lot of new energies that came through today, which is really cool and exciting. I love when those energies come in. There's a message about solution. They showed me the Antarctica and Fuji and the polar bears and their skin and the fur. The fur is actually made up of the same things our nails are. And there's something about the DNA structure within that and within this bug that is found in Fuji, and the DNA structure of these beings, which was actually channeled through in this parts of it, is unlocking healing for us of humanity at this time. That's so cool. I love this stuff. Because I learn. I learn as I go along, and it's just really cool. So yeah, thank you all for listening. If you are interested in booking a private session with me, feel free to reach out to me. Because just like how I channel and go with the flow here, when I work with an individual, it's very based on their soul and their evolution, and the stuff that comes through is very individualized, whether it's mediumship or activations. It's actually a real gift when I can provide this channel for people and along their path. And so if it calls to you and you're interested in what that would be like, feel free to reach out, connect with me, and find out more about that. And so thank you all for listening, and I'm just really grateful that I get to share this. Sending you all much love and a big hug at this time, wherever you may be. Okay, so I'm coming back on because Spirit wants me to share this. One of the channels was a lower, denser energy. And so there can bring a lot of fear when I say this. But I want you to know this is really cool. So as I was channeling, I was aware of this. And what happened was, so a lower, denser energy did come through, but there was a purpose of light and love in this, this aspect. Because the thing is, we all are light and dark, right? We're humans, and there's a level of density that we have that allow us to be here. And there are aspects of us that we're still healing, or else we'd be ascended, But what was happening was I was calling forth these energies, right? The lower energies. And through bringing them, calling them forth, bringing in the light, they were in the channel, they were being transmuted into light and transformed. And so, there's this aspect that, fearing the dark or fearing our shadow aspects, right? That, it's bad, it's not spiritual, right? But the thing is, the more we fear it, the more we push it away. But when we call forth with an intention of healing, with an intention of integration, it's a different energy, right? It is for love. it is for the light. It is for human, it is a beautiful gift. So they kind of wanted me to come on and really speak about that from a place of enlightenment, and how this can be mirrored in a big way with a lot of stuff that's going on around us. That and it goes through the theme that I was talking about in the beginning of the month, right? Whether addiction or certain habits that may be very coming to head right now at a peak, because they're being called to be transformed. They're being called to be broken down. And so in that, these lower energies, there's light in their love. Love has no boundaries. And even if you think about psychology, there's certain aspects in psychology that expose someone to their triggers. And when they're exposed to their triggers, it allows them to invoke the healing, right? And triggers aren't necessarily, quote unquote, always bad. Sometimes they're just showing us parts of ourselves that need some love and that need some healing. And when we incorporate these in a healthy way, in a safety and with intention of healing, it's a different energy than constantly experiencing it from a place of victimhood, right? Or being a victim, not victimhood. Because being a victim is a real, being in the trauma versus being out of the traumatic incidents and in a safe place with the intention of healing. And those triggers in front of us can bring that about. And then when we see these as actually gifts, when you're actually in a safe place versus the trauma, we can use these as opportunities to heal, transform, love, and integrate. And that's the beautiful gift that these beings, these denser, lower energy beings had for us. And in that, they get to transform and heal and grow too. So yeah, Spirit wanted me to come back on and share this. So yeah, much love.